Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Raw Cloud. Today, this is going to be part 4 of Family Ties. Now, in the previous Family Tie video, I started talking about my father, and I ended up with now going into talking about his son, my stepbrother. Now, within these military projects, now we know about the MK Ultra programming and how it would go from these family ties, these bloodlines. They like to keep it, um, these projects going, from father to son, and then so on within these military projects. Now, my brother, he had issues coming up. Like I stated, he was raised, you know, with my father and my great grandmother. So he knew, and he's a lot older than me. I think he was probably maybe about 7 years older than me. And when my father first introduced my brother to, my mom side of the family, we did not know that he had all of those issues. I was too young to even know about what was going on, but his mind was already fractured. And I think my father, you know, now that I remember, you know, I can remember my father, telling us to accept him, um, that he had some issues with his mother, and now that my father was going to be raising him, he would be, around him a lot. And when you're a kid, you really don't understand a lot of the stuff that goes on. I didn't know anything about this stuff. Now I knew about the Greys would take me. I knew that I would be floating out of my bed at an early age. But they had mind wiping technology, so it wasn't really certain to me what was going on. I just knew that there was some things going on as a kid. Didn't get the panic attacks until later, until my body would start to remember. It wasn't the mind remembering; it was the body that went through all the trauma that was reacting in these, was the panic attacks, you know, and going. Everybody know what panic attacks are. Well, it's your body remembering. Whether your mind remembers or not, it's your body reacting to trauma from what has happened. But to get back to, my stepbrother, I did exactly what my father said. I accepted him as my brother. And I know that he would come over sometimes. And when you're a kid, you really don't pick up on all of this stuff. You really don't. But I knew that something wasn't, quite right. And I already had my friends growing up. I had, my best friend that later became, this Navy officer, that I talked about. And we both would be in these military projects. He had his side that he was dealing with, and I had my side that I was dealing with. And this will be considered the more positive faction of the Navy. And of course, there's always a negative side as well. But my brother was a lot older than me. and didn't really get to see the side that he was going through. Really didn't get to see what was happening to him, but we knew something was going on. And now that I can look back, I can see from all the stuff that was going on with him, he got into a lot of trouble, and that's why he went with my father. His mother just could not handle him. There was some things going on with on his side with his mother, and I don't think that she was a bad person. I think that she could not handle him because of all of this mind trauma that he was going through, within these Montauk projects. He also had to have been in the Montauk projects, um, and he was getting into so much trouble. And my father could not control him. I'll get into the kidnapping part now. So when he came over, when he came over to my mom's house, he kind of tricked me and my sister into going with him, and we didn't see anything of it. I thought that we was just gonna be going to my father's house to maybe play. I had to be about 9 years old. I had to be about 9. So my sister, she was probably about 10 years old because she's a year older than me. And we ended up going with him. We ended up going with him, and it was nighttime. Little did we know that he had other plans. He had other plans for us. That was the night that we got kidnapped by him. There was no indication prior to what he had planned for us. There was no indication because we had not really hung out, but played with each other as young kids. And he would come over visiting, and we would come over to my father's house and visit sometimes. A lot of times he was not there. He was off um, doing other things.